Ladies and gentlemen, this is a native plant, Rhus typhina, Staghorn Sumac. It is called a Staghorn Sumac. Stag is like a male deer, you know, and it's got the big antlers. So if you took off all these compounded leaves, you'd have these branches left of like a rack of antlers. And on stags, when they get the new racks, they're covered in this velvet, and if you feel this, it's very velvety, and that's why it's called Staghorn Sumac. This is a native plant, and it's one of the first to colonize open meadows and such. It likes dry upland areas in full sun. It spreads by underground runners, so it travels quite a bit, and hence can form fairly large colonies in the landscape. Beautiful fall color. Vibrant red to orange, and it also produces these fruit. Now these were green flowers and now they've turned to fruit, and these will persist right through until next year. Now the interesting thing about these, and this is, you know, I tell this story, you know why English are called limeys? Because they sucked on limes to prevent scurvy coming over on the, you know, the 6 week or 8 week or 3 month if you got lost, or 6 months if you really got lost on the square rig sailing ships. If they were really smart and paid attention and plant ID, they could take, because limes rot, right? They had no storage, so after a while this fruit would rot. I can keep limes on my boat for two weeks in the summer for my gin and tonics, and then I have to restock, and then they're kind of, you know. If you take the fruit and you boil this in water, now this is a poisonous plant, Anacardiaceae, the whole group of them is quite poisonous, but if you boil the fruit in water, it releases the vitamin C. So you get this liquid that's got a pink tinge to it, and then if you were really smart and you did this in the spring, so say you're on your airplane and it crashes, right, in spring in the snow, you crawl out of the wreckage, you take a piece of the aluminum fuselage, you got jet fuel everywhere, so you got lots of things for fire. Put some snow in the aluminum, boil the water, drop the sumac in, go and tap a birch tree or a maple tree, get some of that, put that in for sweetening your tea, and you got some vitamin C, you got yourself a nice tea while you're waiting for your rescue. So you take these, and they're dry, so they'll, not today they're not dry, but they're dry so they can store for quite a while as well. So that's one of the advantages of Rhus typhina, is that it's edible. So it's a great winter food. If you're out, I used to do a lot of winter camping. I'm getting too old for it now. It's snowshoeing and stuff, way up into Algonquin, even dog sledding. And we would go along, and then we would find a group of this and collect it and make a nice tea. Yeah. So.
What does the tea taste like?
It doesn't have much of a taste. It kind of has a semi-sweet taste, but it, you know, I don't go and tap maple syrup trees because I am too impatient, so I carry the maple syrup with me and just dump it in. So it tastes more like maple syrup and water. But yeah, when you're out at -20 and you've been out in the snow all day, it tastes pretty damn good. So compound leaves, very, very distinct, and you can see the color changes of it. The big concern with this plant is the way that it does travel. It can be problematic, and actually the students were out here on weekend duty the other week, and they took out a bunch out here because it's not an ideal planting for this situation, because if we let it get too far out, then so we whack it back periodically. But we wanted a fairly low maintenance, massive landscape here. So we use a lot of old shrubs and evergreens in this planting here. This is not typically what you'd use in a residential setting. These are big, individually they're quite big plants.